All right, all right. Uh, Hello guys. What up? Welcome to Claxon Seasonal Series EU. Uh, #6. Today we are doing season grand finals, and we have two teams, two finalist teams. Team Vigorous versus Team Vintage. And today we have a co-host, Twist right here.
Hello, everyone. Hopefully, it's going to be a good stream. As you said, Team Vintage versus Vigorous. The
Yep.
finals. There's a lot to talk about before we actually get into the game, and yeah, fun to see that Claxon Tournament has finally arrived to the finals. So definitely some hype in the chat. Welcome everyone who's watching the stream. Hello, everyone. I know that people are probably saying in the chat, "Oh my God, Hulk! Oh my God, Twist! Hi guys." So hi to you guys back, and yeah, hopefully we have some good games. Best of three. It's best of three today.
Yep. And right now we are just waiting for teams to ready up. So just feel free if you guys want to ask anything and just let us know which team you guys are supporting.
Yeah, so I guess I'll just give a little recap about the Claxon tournament. So basically, the Claxon Seasonal Series is a monthly single elimination Critical Ops 5v5 Defuse Tournament consisting of 8 to 16 teams. The tournament is available for multiple regions: Europe, India, Asia, South America, and it's powered by Critical Force, our lovely developers, as well as Nice Cactus, Beer Claw Gaming. And this is actually the sixth edition of the European Seasonal Series, so it's not the first time thing. It's the sixth edition. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun to see it. And yeah, just a little recap for those of you guys who maybe don't know what are the prizes. So the first place today, we're gonna see the first place battle against the second place, kind of, because one of the teams will take the victory, and the first place will actually get 8 premium cases, 1,200 yellow credits, as well as $50. So quite a hefty prize pool there. Second place takes half of that, 4 premium cases, 600 credits, and then the third and the fourth. We're not going to see those games today, but they're taking home again half of that, two premium cases and 300 credits, and it's the same for the third and the fourth place. So in total, 80 premium cases, 5,600 yellow credits, and 1,200 credits as well as $50. So a lot of prizes here. Definitely something to battle for, and hopefully we're gonna see Vigorous versus Team Vintage. Which team actually wants it more. And just a brief summary for you guys. Maybe if you're just starting to watch the stream now, you didn't catch the semifinal games. Team Vintage, they actually won against Valorous in quarterfinals by 13-12. So they barely clinched the victory there. Quite interesting because we haven't really seen Team Vintage that much in the competitive scene. However, Valorous, same as Vigorous, they're kind of seasoned champions, seasoned veterans of the Critical Ops circuit. So we've seen both of these teams in circuit. However, not Team Vintage. So it's going to be interesting to see, since they beat out Valorous, if they're actually able to take down Vigorous as well. And Vigorous on the other side, they won Euphoria in quarterfinals. Again, 13-12. These games were really, really close here. And they also won against Aura Esports in the semis, 13-3. So that was a bit of an easier game, but definitely for both teams, it was not an easy road to the finals. Both of these teams were really struggling, almost lost, but then took the victory, 13-12, for both these teams. So that's something interesting to note. Definitely the top teams are going to compete in the finals. It's not like one of these teams just had like a very easy run and that's it.
Yep. Both the teams are like really good, and Team Vigorous are like a very lone clan by now. I haven't heard yet about Team Vintage much, but I do think so that they are still gonna perform really well after they have like qualified for the finals. So right now we have the map bans right here. So it's gonna be the first match on Plaza, which was picked by Team Vigorous. So Team Plaza is gonna be the first map. Then we're gonna move towards Team Bureau, and the last final decider map will be Legacy. So hopefully, Team Vigorous is gonna show some performance because they have picked up this map. So we should expect some serious play from them.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like Plaza is, one of those maps where pretty much anything could happen. There's many different strategies how you can approach playing Plaza, and it's a very chaotic map in my opinion. Like there isn't really a meta, just a default way to play Plaza. It feels like every single team kind of plays Plaza a little bit differently, and that definitely shows, in these matchups. If one of these teams, have a really good strategy, it's just gonna work out for them. So Plaza, I feel like it's gonna be a bit chaotic. As you said, it is picked by Vigorous, so they
Yep.
should have the advantage here, but nevertheless, I do think that it is going to be a close game, and I feel like we might actually see Legacy since Biru, the rework. I'm sure that Vintage has
Yep.
practiced it, and as the second map, probably probably they have some tricks up their sleeves, that we haven't really seen in competitive gameplay so far. So for me, I feel like on Plaza, Vigorous is going to take the victory since it is their pick. But about Biru, I'm not really quite sure. What do you think about Plaza? You think Vigorous can take it, or Vintage are gonna show up with the upset?
I always like expect like both the teams to do well. I can't. I like always. I'm trying to like judge these teams by what they can perform like in the first half. Because if I'm gonna say like too early, like oh Vigorous is just gonna like dominate in this match, even though if they picked, but who knows what's gonna happen? Because both the teams are really good, so it can
Yeah,
be anything.
that's true.
Yep.
That's true. Yeah. Well, we'll
So
see. We'll see.
yeah. So moving towards the game right here, we think like the players are ready to play. All the recordings are done, so we
Yeah,
will be starting quite soon.
from our behind the scenes helpers, we've gotten the message that the game is ready to start. Can we start for real? Yes. So they're gonna reset any second now. We can see some TRG practicing there, and Team Vintage is actually gonna start on the breach side. So kind of climbing the hill early since Vigorous. They're gonna start on the collision side, definitely the easier side to play on Plaza. So yeah, Vintage, they really have a tall order here. They'll have to do a lot, and they'll have to start getting those breach rounds early. Otherwise, it's gonna be very hard to complete the comeback. And we can see Vintage. We're actually gonna move towards that A mid area. They have bought nades, so normally you'd buy Kevlar or just the Deagle, but one of these players has decided it's better to buy some nades, some smokes, some grenades. I don't know how that hand is not like broken there. How can he inspect the XD that way? Anyways, a flash does come in. Everyone is pushing towards A, and there's only one or two players on their side, so it's gonna be hard for them to enter. But Fair already with two finally gonna take him down. Oh, but it's just an absolute massacre here. Four players down, only one left. Asta is actually able to get one, but that's gonna be it. Scared, really showing up on this match for Vigorous. 3 kills already. Securing the pistol round, so the coalition side is starting off quite early here. They're gonna be able to buy up fully here as well, so that's even harder for Vintage. We should be looking at a 2-0 scoreline here. I mean, the only thing that Vintage can try to do in this round is not really go for the round win, since that's going to be really hard. What they can try to do is take some of these weapons out of the hands of Vigorous, so their economy is a bit worse, or plan to buy it. Either one would be good, but Fair, he's just so good. Once again, double opener there. Oh, he's just fully flashed though. Look how far he has pushed, and that's just the round over. It wasn't even, it was like 10 seconds. Vigorous just take it by a storm. 2 rounds on the board for them now.
Yep, Team Vigorous just absolutely dominating on CT side. Like that push by Fair, and like even on the first pistol round, he got like 3 kills, right?
Yeah. I mean, Fair, he's just really showing up today. We'll see how that goes. We're only 2 rounds in, so not really a big kind of pool out of which to draw these conclusions out of. But yeah, definitely Fair on top of the scoreboard here. Marcus Antonius, he actually has 2 frags, so performing for Team Vintage as well. Unfortunately, it has not resulted in a round win so far. But Vintage, they're looking strong. Just fully, everyone is pushing up that B-long, B-mid area, but it's going to be hard to challenge. How Sniper, though, opening it up. Getting a frag on Adulty, so that makes it 4v5 Vigorous. Oh, but they're just pushy. Marcus Antonius catches scared off guard. 3v5 now. This is a round for Team Vintage any day. I feel like Vigorous, they have to start thinking if they want to save this round or not. 3v5. Vintage has smokes as well, so it's going to be very hard to retake. And Vigorous, they do have that U-ratio, so it's definitely not a weapon you'd want to lose. $4,800. But they're just gonna push it, and Fair does get 1 U-ratio frag, but now should be the last time that he, calls a save, because there's just nothing he can do there. 22 HP, the U-ratio in his hands. Yeah, he's just running away. Hopefully he doesn't run in some opponents here. He's actually getting quite aggressive. I mean, it is a kind of a weird decision to actually lose that sniper rifle. Yeah, that's over. I mean, Vigorous, they'll have to like force by now. And Team Vintage getting the first one on the board early. So that's good. Team Vintage looking kind of strong, you know, after losing the pistol and the eco round. Now Jeppa on top of the scoreboard. I think he got 3 in one round, so awesome performance from Jeppa. And yeah, so far so good for both teams, I'd say. It's definitely 3
Uh,
rounds down. It's quite a close game.
yep. Fed did try to save his sniper, but unfortunately he wasn't able to. Looks like
Oh, Jeppa, he actually opens it up early on Adelkeet again, so Adelkeet going down early 2 rounds in a row. Oh, but fair, he has that FP6 close range, we know that it's deadly. If someone peeks him, he should be good for 1, maybe even 2. Actually pushing up, trying to get a frag, but Jeppa, he's just too quick, he's very aware there. Taking down fair. And now once again a 3v4 for Vigorous, and well, they do have sights on lockdown. A side is not really guarded, but that's also not where Team Vintage is going. Oh, and there you go, the refrag comes in from Twirl. 2v3 now, but yeah, Vigorous, they have to like rotate over, one player on A, one player on B. And it looks like Team Vintage is gonna strike A here, so it's gonna be a lot to do here. Only one player on site. It is Crux, and he has that SA-58. Not really the optimal weapon here, but he does get one. Oh, he just completely catches them off guard. One more is low, but now like situation for Scared, and he's just not ready for Jeppa. Jeppa so aware, so well played. Another 3 rounds added to his scoreboard. And that's going to be the second on board for Team Vintage. Definitely starting off early here. Jeppa, 6 frags already, just the absolute top frag of the server. Awesome performance by him. He's just really dragging his team to these to win these rounds.
yep, Jeppa is doing the most work, and as like Scared wasn't expecting someone to be there, so Jeppa actually caught him off guard right there. So a really nice play by Jeppa.
For sure, Jeppa, he's just been playing really well this stream. I mean, only the 4th round, so it's not you know, you can't make the decisions off the 4 rounds. Title is actually able to open it up. And look, they're just all pushing up. This is an eco for Team Vigorous, but they just catch Team Vintage absolutely off guard. They weren't ready for a push this fast. Yeah, and that's pretty much over. 2v5 now. Adelkeet has upgraded his pistol to that AK-47, so that makes it even harder for Team Vintage. Only one player left, and he does go down. So not really good for Team Vintage. I mean, they were looking strong at those rifle rounds, but as soon as Vigorous have to go eco, they just push up, and there's nothing Team Vintage can do. Vigorous on 3 rounds now. Fair, the kind of opening star on the pistol round and the anti-eco. Hasn't really gotten that much frags since, but Adelkeet actually really showed up with 2 big frags in that previous round. Getting the GSR kill, which is very hard against those armored rifles. And then, you know, another one, taking the AK-47. So definitely Adelkeet showing up big ways in that last round. And fair, he is moving up closely here, but the question is, can he see through the smoke? He's trying to find an off angle that he can see something. Oh, he's just gonna push up. That's crazy from Fair. He catches 1, 2, 3 off guard. Fair, what a play. He's gonna go for the ace. He just doesn't stop. Oh my god, he lits another one, but not really dead yet. Yeah, Fair, he's just blood hungry. He wants that ace. Once again tags someone, but unfortunately not the try. But he's just gonna spam through the wood there, and oh, Twirl takes his ace. But Fair with a huge quad kill there, taking Vigorous up to 4.
Yep, that push by Fair, like, I wasn't expecting Fair. Like, I thought he was gonna move towards house, but that really nice push by Fair. Like, Team Vintage wasn't really expecting someone to push through that smoke, and like, was really unexpected. And Fair just like absolutely just getting that 4 kills.
Yeah, Fair. I mean, he was doing great on those pistol rounds, but once again, Scared, they're just so pushy. I mean, Vigorous, they're playing this like it's the breach side. They are on the collision, but they just don't care. They throw early flashes, peek, and they get the frag, so Scared, even though he's low, Vigorous has that one-man advantage here. So Team Vintage, once again, kind of in an, you know, fighting an uphill battle here. 4v5 on the breach side as well. Well, look at that Glove and Deagle combo. That's really nice. Hopefully that gets him some kills, because I really rate that loadout here. But Team Vigorous, look at that. They're going for that double house stack. If they push that, Team Vintage is not going to be able to. But if they did, I'm sure they would not expect 2 people at house. So Vigorous definitely coming out with some nice positionings here on the collision side. But yeah, Vigorous, look at this. Like Fair, he's just running around. He's just running around trying to find kills. They're definitely playing this coalition side very aggressively, and so far it's paying off. I mean, there is one player pushing on the B side here. Oh, they might be able to get the plant, but there are the two guys' house. King actually getting a huge deagle frag there. So the bomb is gonna go down. Now we're looking at a 2-3 retake situation, but scared, he just catches. That was actually, I thought that was fair shot, that was scared. Large shot now, definitely 1v3. Fully flash, yeah, there's absolutely nothing he can do fair with the jab in the heart, you know, just getting that knife kill, getting those extra $1,500, since knife kill actually rewards you way more money than regular kill, so there's actually some kind of an incentive to go for the knife kill other than just, you know, memeing and just making fun of the other team. And yeah, there you go. He's gonna come in. Vigorous on 5 rounds now, looking strong. Team Vintage had that kind of an opening, but for a while now they haven't really been able to find these opening frags and get the round.
Yep. Team Vintage did had that round in their hands, but like they didn't had like too much time till they're gonna reposition themselves. Which even like Fair missed his sniper shot. They did had the chance to clutch, but a really nice try by Team Vintage.
Yeah, it was a good try. I mean, Vigorous, they had the flashes, they had nades to complete retakes. So maybe if they didn't have any utility, that would have been a bigger chance for Team Vintage. But as you saw there, just Marcus getting absolutely flashed. You know, just fully blind. There's not much you can do. So Vigorous, good utility usage, good retake, and so far looking strong. 5 rounds on the board. Now we have to remember this is the coalition side, so it's gonna be a bit harder once they switch to that breach side. But either way, Vigorous definitely the favorites of this matchup. We have to remember it is Vigorous pick as well, so probably they have a bit better strategies. And there you go, Fair, just combat Euratio player, opening up, getting an early kill on Jeppa, one of the impact players, so that's definitely a very nice frag. Looks like Crux is watching that A mid area, but look at that, everyone from Team Vintage is moving towards that B area, and they're just getting sniped one by one by Fair. Sniper actually able to refrag on Scared, but it's still a 2v3, so a lot to do here. Looks like they are gonna go back to that B side. The bomb is not even on site, so even though there's an entry frag, Adelkid is holding a very, very strong angle here. He can see if somebody passes to his left here. You can see right. Oh, he's going in for the pre-fire, but Sniper actually takes him down. Fair with the third, and King taking down Fair now. 1v1 situation. Oh, he knows his house, but King is so low, and Crux able to clutch it out. You know, 1v1, taking down King. That was really close. That was one of the closest rounds that we've seen in a while. But yeah, Vigorous just oh, look at that. Fair 15 frags. Fair is playing so insane right now. I mean, 15 frags is like when the half switch is very good, but he's gotten 15 frags in 8 rounds. That's almost 2 frags every single round. Fair playing absolutely out of his mind right now. It seems like Vigorous, they just don't have the Team Vintage, they just don't have the answer on how to crack Vigorous defense, especially on how to crack open Fair, because he's just, you know, playing at that ratio very strong, getting 1, 2, 3 frags every single round. There's not much you can do as Team Vintage. Maybe some utility usage would come in handy. Oh, but this is close. Twirl might not know about this position. If the smoke disappears, this is everything for Team Vintage. Oh no, but he pushes through the smoke. That's an easy frag for Twirl. I think he should have waited out there, but it seems like Vintage, they are going to push up quick, so maybe it was the right decision. Marcus gets a nice frag to the smoke, but one more is close. He knows that both players' locations are known. There you go, Team Vintage, actually a really good chance. They're going to rotate over to the B side here, because they know Twirl is on A. So why would they not go B, just plant, and then play on the after plant here? Sniper, he's actually playing really aggressively. Oh, this might be awful for Team Vintage. He's gonna get caught off guard, but no. Vigorous, even though they hear him, Twirl is not really gonna run and try to push him up. So he does know positions of both players, one on B site, one somewhere close to A mid or CT. But there you go, he actually opens it up on Sniper. Now 1v1. Now everything Marcus has to do is just wait out time, you know, just waste time here as much as he can, so that Twirl just doesn't have enough time to defuse. But yeah, Twirl, so many angles to clear. I mean, it's going to be hard. He has to consider the house or B-long possibility as well. The bomb is planted for both of those positions to be viable, but Marcus, he's in a very strong position here. He's expected and peaks! I'm not sure why he peaked there. I mean, maybe Twirl like fake defuse, but he actually does get the defuse. Yeah, very interesting choice there. I guess Twirl fake defused, and that's why Marcus peaked, but he had to wait just a little bit longer. We saw the bomb was so close to exploding there. But yeah, unfortunately for Team Vintage, Vigorous is going to take the 7th here, so only 6 more separating them from that first round, first map victory. And Team Vintage, again, even though they had some nice rounds at the start that looked kind of very promising, you know, they had nice openings, especially like the Jeppa, the 2-5 position. They haven't really been able to give an answer to Vigorous since. So we can see on the scoreboard, once again, Adalki, they just push in like Vigorous. They're playing it so aggressively, and Team Vintage, they don't really have an answer for that. Maybe they should camp a little bit more, you know, wait a little bit more for these pushes. But oh, actually, Kingdom sniping 2 huge frags. Adalki with his second one of this round. So that's going to make it a 3v3. A bit better position to be in if you're on Team Vintage's side. 3v3, definitely, if you choose the right site, you know, you just push it. There's only one player there, 1v3. You're able to get the plan down. Seems like they actually make the correct decision here, but one of the players on Vigor is already rotating over, so we might be looking at a 2v3 here if Team Vintage isn't quick enough. And yeah, seems like Vigorous are not sure as well, but Adalki is third one, looking for the A's, but Marcus takes him down. 2v2 now. Now both positions of Team Vintage are known, so Vigorous are going to slowly rotate over to the side, but that flash just keeps Vigorous at bay here, and the bomb plant is coming in. So Team Vintage, another chance in an after plant situation, but Twirl, he's just so good this game. Along with Fair, yeah, they just take everyone down. Crocs coming in as well, and Marcus again. That's going to be 8 for Vigorous. Team Vintage, even though they've had some nice rounds, you know, they've had some rounds where it could have go either way. It just seems like Vigorous are a little bit better prepared here. Fair, still sitting on that 15, haven't really gotten any frags in the last few rounds, but he doesn't need to. He doesn't need to when Adalkit can just get 3 in a row, when Crocs can get some frags. You know, it's an overall very balanced performance from Vigorous. If you don't look at Fair, everyone else is sitting on pretty much the same amount of frags, and even though Team Vintage, you know, Jeppa is performing a little bit better than the rest of the team, there's not really one star player that can really carry it out and get some more rounds. Adalkit, look at this, like their utility usage is so early. They're literally, Adalkit has wasted or just used all of his utility in a matter of seconds at the start of the round, so he's not going to really have anything else for the rest of the round here. But does he really need to? I mean, it is a 4v5, so once again, a bit of a better position to find yourself in if you're Team Vintage. Kinged is low, so he's probably just gonna try to play on refrags here. He is, might actually lurk, you know, when you're low, you can kind of go for those info plays, for those lurks. And if you find someone, that's good. If you don't, that's also good, you know, you're low, so it's kind of a good decision to just go out lurking and try to get info for your team. But Team Vintage, they want to take this B mid, they want to take the mid, they want to take the CT control, and Vigorous, they actually had 2 players towards that area. Crocs is going to have to do a lot here. Jeppa with a very nice ratio frag, actually. Now it's a 3v4, so I feel like Team Vintage, they just need to all push together. And they know that the numbers stay with them, you know, 3v4, and that's exactly what they're going to do. Sniper with a nice refrag and twirl. Now a 3v2 situation, and Vigorous, they haven't rotated over. There's a very strong position in mid, so I feel like whenever one of the players enters CT, but he actually doesn't go down, so Vigorous, they're able to fully rotate towards A, and just catch Sniper completely off guard. Jeppa gets the frag, but once again, a 1v1 situation. Scared, has no idea that this player isn't coming from the double doors area, but neither does Hasta La Vista know where Scared is, so... Oh, he actually does! He's gonna pre-aim that and takes down Scared. There you go, 3rd on the board for Team Vintage at last. That was really needed for them if they want to have like any chance in this game at all. Would be great if they can take the 4th one as well before the hop switch. That would really grant them a better opportunity, but I feel like what we really have to look at is once the sides switch, you know, Team Vintage, they'll have to get the pistol round. If they don't get the pistol, I feel like it's pretty much over. So that should be their main focus right now, even though there is one more round to be played. And Team Vintage, yeah, finally they're starting to understand how Vigorous plays. You know, they understand that Vigorous is very pushy, throwing flashes early, peeking early. So Vintage, they've kind of switched positions. Vintage is kind of playing like the collision side here at the start, just waiting for everyone to peek. Vigorous, they're gonna kind of play aggressively, and Scared actually takes down one. Sniper with the quick refrag, and he knows one more is belong, so he's looking for the frag. Gonna just flash an entry it, but there's nobody there to be found. Vigorous already rotated towards B site. That makes it a 4v4 situation. Fair though, we've seen how good he is with this U ratio, and he's in the exact spot he should be. Checking that B side, there's actually 2 U ratios for Vigorous, so this might be deadly for Team Vintage. B side is very long range for to take, so those U ratios are very, very valuable if you do get them towards that B side. Now Team Vintage, they also have one U ratio player, but he is towards that A mid area, kind of lurking with U ratio, not something you see a lot. And Hasta La Vista definitely looking for an opening here. And Jep actually gets one on Scared. That's 0 ratio gone for Vigorous. So only one more left on Fair, but very nice position here in the A mid from Twirl. I feel like he can definitely get one. He gets a quick one. He is paranoid of A long, and that is going to be his death there. So 3v2 now. Once again, Team Vintage is in the lead, but last round when this happened, Vigorous is actually able to make it to 1v1, so Crux, kind of a basic position. Yeah, Sniper just pre-aims it, takes out Crux, so only Fair left, he gets one. We know he's good, but he's not good enough to fight off two people sandwiching him. Jeppa from the back, one more from sight, and that is going to be it for Fair. 4 rounds on the board for Team Vintage, that is definitely good, but I feel like that's not really enough. I mean, Vigorous, they've been playing great. So Vintage, they really have to take this pistol. As I said, if they take the pistol, they'll most likely take the next one as well. So we're looking at a 6-8 scoreline. However, if Vigorous wins this one, it's a 4-10, and that might just be the end for Team Vintage. So looks like they're just gonna go for the B stack. One player towards A mid, playing the kind of info plays, trying to lock him out. And unfortunately, it is gonna be A. So we're looking at an after-plant situation here. Vigorous is just going to have a clear empty site. Oh, actually, everyone is rotating over. Team Vintage already almost on site, so Vigorous not able to cross, and they're just going to try to rotate over, but... Oh, what is happening? Everyone is so flashed. 2 players live on Team Vintage. Oh, he's so close, but he doesn't get it. Adelkeed goes down to Marcus Antonius. That makes it 5-8, so definitely a very good performance here on the pistol round from Team Vintage. 5 rounds on the board, Jeppa once again on top of the scoreboard. Actually the only player that's positive KD-wise on Team Vintage, so definitely the man of the match here. But Fair, he's still sitting on a very nice scoreline. Haven't really seen those crazy impact rounds from him recently, but he doesn't really need to, you know, as of now, because his teammates are helping him out. But here, oh, look at that, Sniper! What a double nade there, just takes the mortar from the sky, takes down 2. 3-5 now, Jeppa with another one. Yeah, this is quick and easy for Team Vintage, and they're just pushing up, taking everyone down. Scared does take one of those rifles off the hands of Team Vintage, but that's just not going to be enough. Fair actually gets one. We were talking about him not really providing impact in these last rounds. I mean, this is a perfect chance for him. 1v3, he only has the deagle, and the bomb position is going for Team Vintage, so it's going to be hard. It's definitely going to be hard for him, but I mean, we've seen him. He's really good, so sure he can make something with it, but seems like Team Vintage, they're just going to push up. I mean, they're not really pushing in his face. They're just taking map control, where Fair, he just can't really push anything because there's players all around corners. He's just not checking this. He gets one, but is not ready for the other one. King, very nice positioning there. Gets the frag, gets the 6th one on the board. So only 2 rounds now separating Vintage from Vigorous. Very doable for Team Vintage, very doable.
Finally, Team Vintage is getting some rounds, which is really good for them, because now they are finally opening up their strategy and they know like what Team Vigorous is doing. They're just aggressively pushing them. So it's finally working for Team Vintage, but we still have to see like how long can they maintain this streak.
Yeah, I mean, right now they're looking good. They do have rifles. They do have quite a lot of money here, so it's definitely doable for them. But yeah, once again, Vigorous, they are a strong team, so it all depends on these defaults that Team Vintage are running on the Coalition side. Seems like their idea of Collision side is 2 players towards B, 2 towards A, and 1 towards mid, so nothing really out of the ordinary, just the normal default Collision side stack as you'd expect. And Vigorous, they're actually all moving towards that B side, but they are on those deagles, so it's gonna be hard for them to really do anything here. Crux does get one with that hero AK, but Jep and Sniper, they're just too good together, taking down pretty much everyone on the side of Vigorous. 2 more players left, and they do have the Eagles, but that's pretty much it. No, not really any utility. 1 shotgun, which doesn't really give you much if you have to push. It's a good weapon if someone's pushing you, but Vigorous, they are on the weak side, so kind of the ones that have to push. And oh, Scared actually gets a nice crack, so he's gonna try to retrieve that hog there. It might just be too hard. He actually gets it. That's big, and he's going for the peak as well, playing so aggressively. Scared, finally taken down by Sniper, and Team Vintage really shrinking that lead that Vigorous once had. Now only 1 round separates them, and if Team Vintage keeps playing like this, I mean, they're definitely the favorites right now, since they are on the Coalition side, which is a bit easier to play on Plaza. And yeah, they haven't really lost any rounds on this Coalition side, so Vigorous, they really have to come up with something quick, otherwise they might be looking at a first lap upset and Team Vintage taking it.
Yep. Team Vintage is finally like doing a lot of like great strats. Like Team Vigorous, a player did try to save the AUG, but he still tried to like get a peek for a kill. But he should have managed to at least save. Like maybe who knows like what their strategy is. Maybe he was just trying to like get a kill or something. But
Yeah, it could
yep.
be that. I mean, it depends. Maybe, yeah, maybe his in-game leader, their in-game leader, just said like, okay, just go for frags. You know, try to take as many weapons as you can out of their hands, and he did that. I do feel like, as he
Yep.
said, that saving the AUG would have been a little bit better, but it's it's the decision of the in-game leader ultimately. And Team Vintage, yeah, they are smoking off. I mean, they are just running the default setups as I said, but nothing really working their way, and seems like Vigorous are really taking this round slowly. A minute run off the clock already, and no engagements yet, so... Jepa, oh, he's 1 HP. How did that happen? We did not see that engagement. Maybe he got naded, but that's really not good for Vigorous. 1 HP. And Vigorous, they're just fully pushing house. This might be the round for them. Twirl with a very nice entry tag. Two of them actually scared there. Takes down Jepa. That's the big down. One more player on B. But Sniper and King, they just show up in a huge way, making it from a 2v4 in just a 1v2. And yeah, there you go. Sniper takes the last one. Sniper and Jepa, definitely the star players of this round. Taking Vintage to equal standings here. Vintage Vigorous, 8 on the board for both. Now, Sniper has actually gotten in front of Jepa here, but the rest of the squad isn't really performing that well. I mean, they don't have to, since Team Vintage are kind of in a winning streak here. 4 in a row they have stitched together. And same can be said for Vigorous. I mean, we saw some good rounds for Adulty, but other than that, he is at the bottom of the scoreboard. Hopefully he can improve that a little bit. And Sniper, once again, those deadly grenades. He's gotten 3 grenade kills in this half, so that's really good utility usage coming in from Team Vintage. Making it a 4v5, so even harder for Vigorous to kind of come back here. Marcus Antonius takes a nade to the face, 60 HP gone. Has to retreat as well, not really ready for gun engagements here. And scared. He does have the Eurasia, we know that he's good with it, so perhaps he can find some openings here, but... Oh, Adelkey, there you go, he finally shows up in a big way. This is exactly what Vigorous needed. Now, they do get one more. Seems way more doable, and Krux just takes him down from... I don't even know where, but yeah, Jepa just goes down. So now 3v4 situation. They are going to move towards B once again. They don't actually hit A at all. And they might have to start doing that soon if they don't get any rounds on the board. B isn't really working so far. Yeah, there you go. I mean, Vigorous, they get their early openings, but the Vintage's B-side defense is just so strong. Once again, a 3v4 turning into a 3v0. I mean, yeah, Vigorous, they're kind of better, I'd say, at like just early engagements and just gunfights. But Team Vintage, they're just a very, very good team overall. Like, they're refrag, they do exactly what's needed to keep that B site on lockdown. And yeah, so far, Vigorous, we've seen 2 or 3 rounds where they should win the round, at least numbers-wise. You know, they have one or two more players live, but as soon as they try to take that B site, Team Vintage is just ready for it and just absolutely demolishes them. So, Team Vintage definitely on a streak here. I think 5 rounds in a row here. Vigorous, not a single round on the breach side yet, so it could be an upset. It could be the map upset. Actually winning the map pick of Vigorous, but scared. See, once again, they are good in those gun engagements and those one-on-one duels. They just take down the first early frag. But then, I feel like if they push B again, oh, that's a nice frag from Crux. Once again, a 3v4, but they are going towards that B site again, and yeah, this is what happens. Like, Team Vintage's B-side defense is just purely awesome. Like, there's nothing Vigorous can do. As soon as they try to enter B-site, everyone just goes down. Castle Vista with another one and a triple. Time and time again, the same thing happens. Vigorous should really consider going A now, because, you know, they just try the same thing 3-4 rounds in a row, and they do get the early numbers advantage in terms of players live, but then as soon as they try to enter that B site, everyone just falls apart for them. So finally Fair making the rotation towards A, but it's definitely going to be expected there since no noise has been made on B side for a while. Kinged, they are actually both on B side still, but Kinged is in a prime position to just quickly rotate towards A. Now it looks like Fair might actually be able to get the bomb plant here, but not sure if anything more than that. I mean, he has the Eurasia, so it's going to be really hard for him to like clutch 1v2 when both players of Team Vintage can just kind of crush him and sandwich him. And, you know, Eurasia is a very slow fire rate weapon, so taking down 2 players that are just pushing you at the same time is really hard. But he might get the early opening, but what is that from Hasla Vista? Jumping, just taking down Fair. Awesome frag down. Team Vintage on double digits, only 3 more rounds separating them from this first map upset. Yeah, they're just looking so solid. We haven't really seen their B side defense yet, but as soon as Vigorous goes, their A side defense yet, excuse me, but as soon as Vigorous goes B, it's just all over for them. And even though Fair, he can carry his team for a while, you know, there's not really much they can do as a team when they just try to enter a site and everything falls apart for them.
Yep. Team Vintage is finally doing like a lot of work. Like we never expected like Team Vintage to do this good because they were losing a lot of rounds in T side, and we saw like Team Vigorous just aggressively pushing when they were on CT side. But now it looks like tables has just turned, and Team Vintage now has the advantage.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Vigorous, they might have gotten like starstruck for not starstruck, but like get it. You know, they thought they were gonna win. You know, it's easy. We're like 4 rounds in front of them, 5 rounds in front of them, and they kind of just let the game slip out of their hands, and they're not really able to put anything on the board here. Now we can add the fact that they haven't gotten a single beat round, so that definitely, you know, just mentality and morale-wise, that's definitely kind of a problem for them. You know, and oh, just so many frags on the scoreboard here. King with 2 beautiful frags there. What a nice exchange. And Vigorous, once again, left on 2 players. I mean, there's not much they can do. It's a 2v3. And look at this. Team Vintage is playing this very nicely. Everyone close on refrag positions. Oh, but Scared and Fair. They just come one from A mid, one from A long. King gets completely sandwiched. So the first real chance at a round victory here. But Jeppa, he is close. Fortunately, he has that ratio, so he can't watch both angles here. It's gonna be hard for him to do something, and yeah, Fair just coming in with the backstab. Once again, the impact player of this round. Getting Vigorous to 9, so things are looking a bit more shiny, a bit more sunny at Vigorous camp, but still, they need 4, and this is their first breach round, so all Team Vintage has to do is really keep playing the way that they did, and they're probably gonna win, but we have to note that this is the first round they've gotten. It's also the first round where Vigorous really aggressively pushed A, so seems like they finally figured out that B is just not working at all. Team Vintage's defense on B is just too strong. So once they switch up the sides they're going to push, seems like they actually get around on the board. Let's see. And once again, they're going A. They just figured out, no guys, we can't go B. They're just too good on that B side. So we're just going to push A, and it seems like Team Vintage has an idea about that. Only 1 player on B side. Everyone else has rotated towards A pretty much. So Vigorous is going to find a lot of players here on the A side if they don't try to fake B. But there is 1 lurker, so perhaps he could do something. Oh, this smoke, there are gaps in it. Someone could definitely take advantage of it. Oh, and he's just getting so flashed. This is just like white screen simulator. Everyone is pushing up. 4 players of Vigorous pushing up. Oh, this is gonna be just absolute combat very soon. They're gonna push outside and meet 3 players there. Sniper misses his flash, kind of. But he is very low on HP. Yeah, Vigorous, they're definitely looking for entry here. And Twirl gets the first one crossed and another, but Aslavest actually gets 1, Adulti takes him down. So 2v4 now, and Vigorous, once again, that A-side push is just working. There you go. As soon as they start pushing A, they start to get rounds on the board. So an equal scoreline once again. Vigorous, slowly in the late game, coming back, getting 2 rounds in a row. And Team Vintage, I feel like they'll figure out pretty soon that, you know, Vigorous, they know that their defense is so good. So Team Vintage might allocate some of their players towards that A side of things. We'll see, we'll see. I mean, it is an equal scoreline, so whichever team wins, it's going to be a close game. It's definitely getting just boiling up here, you know, the final 6-5 rounds of this match. Yeah, and once again, Vigorous, they're just not even going street. They don't have a single player street. So Team Vintage pushed up, they could go in with a nice backstab, but Adult with great utility usage takes down Sniper. Sniper not even able to see a player before he goes down. And now 4v5. Now I feel like Team Vintage has rotated. Yeah, they're pretty much all rotated towards that A side, but it's gonna be quite hard for them. I mean, it seems like Vigorous has really cracked the way how they can swing. As Haslavista gets 1, he needs another one. King comes in, but Haslavista, he has to do everything here. 1v3 situation, he goes down as well, and I feel like Team Vintage, they could start thinking about a save here. 1v3. Utilities on the side of Vigorous are looking good. Bomb is down as well, so only 25 seconds left realistically to clutch this out. And Jeppa, now he's just gonna go for it. He only has FP6, so why not try to get as many frags with it as you can. Fair though, it seems like it's a pistol round. Jeppa and Fair both playing with the P250s, but Fair actually reigning supreme over him. And Vigorous, definitely coming back here. I mean, I kind of expected Vintage to just take it because Vigorous, they just seemed really helpless. But there you go, 3 rounds in a row, and all 3 rounds have been pushing that A site. Not a single round they've gone B, they've won.
Yep. Team Vigorous finally like figured out that they have to rush towards A because A looks like much easier for them because they're getting like an easy rounds like on A side. Like as we saw on B side, they were having like a lot of trouble pushing on B side because Adel Keat and the rest of like players were just like too good on B side. So finally they are changing their strategy and moving towards A side. And
Yeah,
we did saw Sniper and Jepa like doing really good, but now like none of the strategies are working. So they have to change.
oh, Fair misses a huge shot there. That's a chance for Team Vintage. That 4v5 is going to remain a 4v5. No 3v5s yet. But once again, yeah, Vigorous, everyone on their side moving towards them. Those nades have been proven so useful. They're just taking down everyone in a quick second here, and 12 rounds on the board for Vigorous. They're really showing up here. I mean, it's a good call from the in-game leader, you know. If B isn't working, let's just go A. That's really our only other option. It seems kind of weird that Team Vintage, you know, even though Vigorous has gotten 4 rounds in a row, and all 4 have been pretty much full stack pushes towards that A site, Team Vintage hasn't really allocated more of their players towards A, so yeah, I feel like they should at least, there you go, now they have a quad stack on the A site, and that works out. Sniper actually gets the first one early on Scared. So we might be looking at the 11th here for Team Vintage. Now, Vigorous, they have a chance. Either they go A and kind of expect, you know, many players to be towards there since they've done it so many in these last couple of rounds, or they go towards B, which hasn't really worked out yet, but there is the idea that there's going to be less of Team Vintage's players towards that B side of things. But Vigorous is going to keep loyal to their A strategy, and it works. Will takes down Haslavista, but Sniper and King with immediate 3 strikes, making it the 2v4 so quickly. Adelkey, though, right when you need it, he kicks in, gets 1, but he needs to get 3 more, low on health, and Marcus Antonius is going to take him down, so this is pretty much as close as it gets. I mean, Sniper, he is sitting on absolute top frag of the server, 26 frags, but Fair, he's very close to Sniper. They're pretty much the 2-star players of both teams here, and yeah, the scores are definitely very similar, so we can't really say that one of these teams is playing bad or, you know, not really playing up to their potential. It just seems like Team Vintage wasn't able to crack that A site defense for a while, but now, since they've gotten like 3 players towards that A side of things, they've gotten their first round in a while, so yeah, 1 round for Vigorous, 2 more for Team Vintage. I feel like this is an equal playing field, since the Coalition side is a bit easier to play on. But it's gonna be a lot to do for Team Vintage. I mean, Vigorous, especially their utility usage, has just been so strong in these last couple of rounds. You know, taking down players simply with nades. There he goes, Scared. Another nade as well, and that might have done some damage, but actually no players towards that A mid A long area. Most of them are gonna just keep it safe, you know, just play on Sipe. And Jepa, he is on that Euratio. We know that his primary choice of weapon is the Euratio, so he should be good for 1 or hopefully 2 in this round, and Haslavista is playing that house position, so that's a good defense if Vigorous does decide to rotate towards B. Seems like, oh, Scared, this is nice. So they leave Scared as the lurker towards A. He can hear pretty much everything, so he can hear if someone rotates from A to B, and the rest of the team is going to try out B once again. So far, hasn't worked out for them, but this is late round. You know, they are just all pushed together. And Fair takes down King with a nice Euratio frag, making it a 4v5. Oh, this is looking quite deadly for Team Vintage. Even though their defense has been good so far, they're going to have to do a lot. And there's also that backstab coming in from Fair. There's actually 1 player towards A mid. He does get taken down by Jeff. There you go. The Euratio comes in neutral, but now it's a 2v4, 2v3, and 1v3 now. And that's it. Adelkeet showing up big once again. 16 frags on the board for him. Fair, the absolute top frag of the server alongside with Jepa. That is going to be 13 to 11 for Team Vintage, for Team Vigorous. So even though it looked kind of bad at the start, Vigorous is able to take their map pick. And that is going to be the first game over, so we're potentially looking at 1 or 2 more games. If Vigorous is able to take it in the second one, that's going to be it of the best of 3. If not, then we hopefully see Legacy as well, because that's definitely a map that I kind of want to see.
Yep. Team Vintage really did a really good job. They did manage to get a lot of rounds, and I was still expecting like Team Vintage might win this game, like Cause Sniper and Jep are really doing like a really well like strategies, and they did manage to get a lot of rounds. And looks like Team Vigorous was like really unstoppable like on their own map. Like as far like it was their map, so yep, like you can't really say anything like yep, like they win or loss. Cause we're gonna see like what might happen on the next map. We have like the second map, which is gonna be Bureau, and it's picked up by Team Vintage. So we should expect like a game from Team Vintage on this map. Otherwise, it's gonna be a GG for Team Vigorous.
Yeah, I mean, Team Vantage, they really looked strong on that Plazas, and as you said, even though they didn't win, it definitely seemed like they could be, a team that's able to take down Vigorous. So I feel like on Bureau, we're gonna actually see Team Vantage winning it out. Now we have to remind everyone, it is the rework Bureau, so the angles are
Mhm.
a little bit different. Things are changed a little bit. So I feel like whichever team has practiced this map more since the rework will probably be able to get more rounds. And yeah, 13 to 11 is definitely not a bad scoreline. Even if you lose, on the opposite maps, on the opposite team's map pick, it's definitely good to get 11 in a row. And as you said, like Team Vintage, for quite a few rounds there, it looked like they were just unstoppable. Getting like 6 rounds in a row on that coalition side. Unfortunately, they couldn't really finish it out. It was hard for them to kind of just close the game and take it home. So yeah, Vigorous, good job for them, and they're just looking to take it in two, I guess. We're gonna see how that kind of pans out on Bureau. I feel like whichever team starts on the coalition side on Bureau is gonna have a kind of huge advantage because Bureau, especially since the rework, I feel like it has only gotten more coalition sided. So if you start on Breach, you're kind of fighting an uphill battle. You get maybe 3 rounds, maybe four if you're lucky, and then you switch to that coalition side and you have to get like 9, 10 rounds to actually win out the game. So I feel like the knife round is going to play a huge part in kind of the outcoming of this game.
Yep. And as we said, like Bureau, like the rework is like almost it's been like a month or so. The map has like been reworked, so no one like actually has that much of an experience to play on the new map. So it's gonna be really hard to expect like which team is gonna win. But as always, like whichever team has done the most work on the new map, uh, hopefully that teams wins.
No, I mean that's how things usually go,
Yeah.
yeah. But the thing is, like, I feel like the
Mhm.
Bureau rework isn't really as game changing as other reworks have been. Like, if we remember the Raid
Mhm.
rework, that was really a rework where like everything changed pretty much. Maybe not the layout, but like
Mhm.
many things changed. I feel like on Bureau, there's some angles that are a little bit different. Some things have been patched, especially the vents hull area. Now, if you haven't played on the new Bureau, you don't have to go up that like little ledge there to get
Yep.
in vents. Now you can just straight up walk into that. But other than that, I don't feel like there has been really that many game changing updates to the Bureau rework. It just has been made a bit more nice, a bit more pl- um, pleasurable for the eyes, I guess. So yeah, as you said, I do feel like whichever team practiced it more is gonna win. But we have to remember this is Team Vintage's map pick, so we should assume that they have kind of grinded this map out more since it came out in the rework.
Yep. We will see, like, but we have to wait for their match because that match is gonna start in like next few minutes. So, yep. You guys have to wait for that match. So I think we just gonna take a break for now, and
Yep. Yeah.
we'll see you guys in a few minutes.
In about 10 minutes. See you guys.
Listen to music personalized to you. YouTube Music Premium.
All right. We are back, guys. We are back with another map. Looks like a webcam is stuck for some reason. I have to fix it. Just
I
give
think
me
you
a
need to
moment.
turn it. I think you need to turn it on Discord. That might be the problem. Hey, there you go. If
Is
it's
it?
yeah, it's
Uh,
not. It's well. Anyways, I'm sure you'll fix it. Meanwhile, I'll just talk a little bit about about the previous game. So yeah, if you guys are just tuning in, the first game was on Plaza, and Team Vigorous, even though they were down bad, they were actually able to come back and clinch out the game, 13-11. So Team Vigorous taking their map pick. Now what we're gonna watch is Biru. Biru is actually Team Vintage's map pick. So as we talked a little bit before the break, you know, we feel like whichever team practices Biru more, since the new rework, will probably be able to actually take the victory. But since it is Team Vintage's map pick, I feel like they definitely have something strong, you know, something up their sleeves in a way that they can win out the game. Now we have to remember, Bureau is very coalition sided, especially since the rework. It's only gotten more coalition sided. So once again, whichever team wins that knife round will most likely be able to actually take it home. And I feel like, let me check. From the information that I got from our lovely helpers behind the screen, they said that we will be able to see the knife round. So actually, a very important round to see will be uh, will be here soon. But before that, I wanted to ask you: do you expect like Team Vintage to take their map pick, or do you think Vigorous is just able to take it in two?
For me, I think they should be able to get at least close enough. Cause although it's is a their pick for Team Vintage, it's their map, so they should have picked it like they should have thought of something that yeah they can perform well on this map. So of course, I do expect some really good gameplay from Team Vintage. But as always, like Team Vigorous, they are a really aggressive players and they push a lot. Like even though if it's Bureau, it's Plaza, or even if it's a Legacy, They always push aggressive, and we have seen like in previous matches, they really play like so well on like every single map. They just like they don't care about like actual like camping. They just want to do like what they do the best, just push, and that's it.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
yeah,
That's true. Yeah, I feel like especially with that scoreline that we got on Plaza, actually Team Vintage almost
yeah,
winning the game and being so close, both teams getting to double digits and 11 rounds on the board for Team Vintage on the map that they did not pick. I feel like they're definitely, a strong opponent for Team Vigorous, and since Viru is their map, I do feel like we're going to see the third game, which is going to be Legacy if we do get to that last map of this best of three. So yeah, I feel like these teams are actually really equally matched as we saw. It was kind of an interesting game where like it wasn't really back and forth round wise. It was more like just one team getting like a chunk, getting like 3 or 4 rounds, then the other team getting like 4 or 5 rounds in a row, and so on and so forth. So it was a bit of an interesting way how this played out. But yeah, that's kind of our predictions. But if you're active in the live chat, by the way, big shout out, big thanks to everyone who's watching the stream, who's active in the live chat, who has liked. If you haven't liked, do it now, and subscribe as well, most
just do it.
preferably. Uh, yeah, just do it. But yeah, we actually asked in the live chat, who do you guys think is going to win this next map? And on Biru, people actually said Vigorous, so that's kind of interesting because on the first map,
Yep.
which is the Vigorous map pick, people actually said that Vintage is going to win, and now when it's Team Vintage's map pick, people say Vigorous is going to win. But it's still very close. I mean, from 62 votes, it was 47% for Team Vintage and 53% for Vigorous. So people are kind of favoring one of these teams. Now we have to remember, it's not really that you kind of make a huge analysis in the chat and then you're like, oh, this team's gonna win. It's more like, oh, I'm just, this team is my favorite, so I'm gonna vote for them. So it's not like these predictions from the live chat are super accurate, but neither are or. It's kind of a meme already in Critical Ops community, the caster's curse, where whatever you say, the opposite thing happens. So since
Yep.
I said that Team Vintage is going to win, most likely Vigorous will win now, and yeah, we're just waiting on some players here. But I feel like if it
Yep.
goes to
It's
Legacy, it could really go either way. Do you think like on Legacy there's like a favorite for one of these teams? Because I feel like Legacy is such a weird map. There's so many things that could go wrong there, and so many ways to kind of approach playing on Legacy that yeah, if we do see Legacy, it's going to be a close game, and most likely just could go either way depending on luck and kind of entry frags and stuff.
Yep. On Legacy, it's always unexpected. Like all the people know it's a city map. Like already many like professional players has also like said that it's a really easy game if you play on Legacy on city side. But although it also depends on how your teamwork is, even though if it's a city map or team map, it's all about how your teamwork is and how well you output your strategies. So it's not always like I can like guess if someone is playing on city, he's gonna win. We might see, but for
Yeah.
now, I think we are almost ready. Looks like they are joining in.
That's good. That's always good to know that players are actually joining the game that they need to play. Yeah, and another thing is, as you mentioned, Vigors, they're just really pushy. We saw that on Plaza where they were on the collision side, but they just really played it like they were on breach. Just 10 seconds, 15 seconds in the round, they were already peaking. They were just throwing flashes and pretty much trying to entry frag on the collision side. So definitely, if we do get to that legacy game, I feel like it's going to be very interesting to see, just how dominant they are if they do start on that collision side, especially with their kind of aggressive gameplay. It could work out in their favor, but it could also really work against them because I feel like Team Vintage by now, they've kind of gotten the gist of the way that Vigorous plays the collision side. And realistically, if the collision side is pushing, all you have to do as breach is just kind of wait it out and, get easy frags on off angles, just camping and sitting in, I don't know, a plant or something. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. I feel like both these teams, one game already behind them, they've definitely gotten some ideas about how the other team approaches both the breach and the collision side. So that might come into play on Biru. I mean, if Team Vintage starts on the breach side, they'll most likely just wait a little bit. Just hey guys, Vigorous, if you want to push, if you want to be aggressive, be my guest. But we're just gonna wait and take you guys down one by one.
Yep. Uh, Still, I think we might have some issues with some players. Uh, Cause we still have one player missing from Team Vintage. Don't know what's going on right here. We do
Yeah, most
have
likely just
everyone from.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yep, cause they joined like before. It was like I thought it was a 4v4 cause none of the two players were showing up, but like everyone left and they rejoined. And yeah, finally we have Jepa just joining in, and we gonna start with the knife belong.
Yeah, and it seems like there's also a little bit of a lineup change for Vigorous. Bonfire is actually coming in. I'm not quite sure for which player has been taken out of the main roster here, but Bonfire definitely was not playing in that last game. I feel like it's Scare. Oh no, never mind. Scared's in the server. It's definitely not Scared, but yeah, one of the players on Team Vigorous, on Vigorous side, is taken out and replaced by Bonfire. So it's a little bit of a gameplay change. Oh, look at that. Oh, he's fair. You can't do that. He gets a
Bad,
quad
dude.
kill, but yeah,
uh,
that's not what you're
he,
supposed to do in the knife round, you know. It's called a
he,
knife round for a reason.
yep. Uh, it's kind of like you might get disqualified if you're gonna do this stuff, but yeah, you should always like be serious, cause yeah, you are getting knight, but at least like it's it's kind of like yeah, it's rule break, but I think they are
Yeah,
fine with that.
yeah. I mean, they did get the pick, so it's not that big of an issue. And Team Vintage are all just gonna push towards that B site. Oh, Vigorous, they have to do a lot here. Vintage, they've really practiced their pistols here. Already bomb plan going down. Oh, but Vigorous, they're just able to get take down two of these players now. Just a completely different situation here. King, though, coming in big, taking down two. And Jepa is on very low HP, but the bomb is planted, and you know, the more the time ticks down, the bigger the chance for Team Vintage to win this round. Seems like one Vigorous player is towards that belong area, but Jepa holding a very strong angle here with the Deagle. Gets one. He's actually not going to regroup, so he is low on HP. Scared. Takes down another one. Now it's all down to Jepa. He's slow HP, but he takes down one, and he's looking for the other one. Bomb is ticking, so he just has to wait it out a little bit, you know, wait for Scared to defuse. Defuse is coming in, and Scared takes him down. Now the question is there enough time? Oh no, the bomb might actually blow up. It's so close. And there he goes, Scared. Kaboom. He is dead, and that's the first round for Team Vintage. So definitely a very, very important round. I mean, as we talked about before, you know, Bureau is one of those maps that is very, very coalition-sided, especially since the rework. So Team Vintage, you know, they just need to string together like 2, 3, maybe 4 rounds on this breach side, and getting the pistol round, which kind of grants the second round most of the time as well, is definitely a really good opener for Team Vintage. Getting the pistol, now looking to move towards that banana area here, the reworked intel area as well. Oh, Marcus, he was ready with a pre-fire, you know, that's a spot where shotgun players play, but it's actually Scared in intel with the FP6 and snipe. I'm not sure if he wants to peek this, it's close range. I'm not sure if he wants to just peek a shotgun close range. That's not really a smart idea. Most of the time, the bomb is going to go down. So Vintage, so far, 2 for 2 in the terms of bomb plants. And there you go, the kills start to rain in. I mean, this was Team Vintage's round any day of the week. Jepa gets another one. Now, Vigorous is able to retrieve some of these weapons. But fair, yeah, that MPX is just not meant for long range. That's going to make it the 1v2, and Bonfire only on the Deagle. Now, he is the player switched in, and he's actually able to get one, but all King has to do is play on time once again. Just play as slowly as he can, wait out, wait for the defuse, kind of play around, toy around at the time, and you know, just peek and pre-fire. And he is peeking, he gets the flick. Nice shot on Bonfire there. That is going to be the second for Team Vintage.
Yep, and as of like Team Vintage is getting a decent rounds, like the first and second pistol round. Like these guys, these rounds are like really crucial. Like for the starting, if you wanna predict like which team is gonna do really well, like strategies depending on economy. So looks like Team Vintage did manage to collect kind of like a decent economy for themselves for the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, I mean they're definitely building up on that cash here, and look at this Team Vintage. They're definitely prepared for this. Getting down 2 early entry frags is, again, and Vigorous. They might even opt for the save here. I mean it's a 3v5, so it's not really all over yet. But Team Vintage is looking so strong now, taking down many players in a row. Not really much that Vigorous can do. If only Bonfire. He actually does come in with a frag on Jepa, so equalizing the score board here a little bit. 3v4 now. Now, Fair was disconnected, but seems like that has been resolved and he has connected once again. But Team Vintage, they know that pretty much everyone is stacked towards B side, so they're just going to rotate towards A. Now, Twirl, he has to get at least 2 here. If he doesn't get 2 frags, the bomb is going to go down and it's a very hard retake to play. Does get 1, keeps shooting, but Marcus Antonius is just quicker. Takes down Twirl. And now it's all left down to 1 player on Vigorous side. Bonfire, we've seen him before, doing some good work with the Deagle in the previous round from that position, but Marcus Antonius, he's just better, he just takes him down, and Vigorous, not on the scoreboard yet. Now Bonfire and Scared actually doing quite well, but as a team together, you know, Team Vintage is just better on these breach rounds, and they've definitely done a lot since, as mentioned before, it's a really coalition-sided map, so the fact that they've gotten 3 rounds already, that's almost pretty much anything they need. You know, Vigorous could get 9 rounds in a row now, and it would still be quite of an equal score on the switch here.
Yep.
No,
Team
Marcus.
Vintage really looking good on their side, on their account, because they just need like 1 or 2 more rounds, I guess. Because yeah, city map don't really need like enough rounds on breach, so they're good.
Yeah, they're definitely in a good situation. I mean, Marcus, he was trying to jump on the thing there, on the scanner, but was not able to. The parkour skills on him are not enough. Not what's needed, but Fair, oh, he's pushing up, but we have to remember Marcus is actually in spawn, so Fair could get like completely caught off guard here. No weapons to pick up, it's only his teammate that has died already, and if Marcus hasn't rotated from that position, which seems like he hasn't, yeah, there you go, that's a quick kill for him any day of the week, but he's not aware of Banana. And yeah, he's just not aware of it. Bonfire, great positioning there. Takes down 1, and he hears one more close. It's actually the bomb carrier. So Bonfire is able to take him down. That could be huge, but he makes a lot of noise. He's not getting peeked, which is kind of weird since they know there's only a Deagle, but Jeppa doesn't want to peek it. Seems like Team Vintage is going towards that A site once again. It has worked twice for Team Vintage, just going A and planting there. It was only the pistol round where the bomb was planted on B. But look at this Bonfire. Oh, he's playing trigger patient. Actually, King is not pushing up together with Jep, but that's kind of a weird decision, but works out at the end for Team Vintage. Scared, actually able to take down another one. Now, with Team Vintage, they definitely do not want to lose to these Deagles and some upgraded pistols. That would be horrible. The bomb does go down, but 1v2 situation now. Adelkeet on the AK-47. Polar, one of the older skins, definitely a nice one. Is the skin going to be enough to get the frag? That's really the question. Now, the good thing for Vigorous is they're kind of sandwiching Team Vintage here. I mean, one coming from Lab, the other one coming from CT. So it shouldn't be that hard to kind of spot out the player and just take him down together. Now, King is in a very, very strong position here. So he might be able to get one. He gets scared, and he also knows, yeah, Adelkeet just completely exposes himself with the pre-fire. Now, he is going to get pushed, most likely, since that bomb has to be defused, but Adelkeet, he just opts for the save, not really any time left, and that is the correct call. You know, it's a hard decision to make, because they definitely need it. They really, really needed that 1v2 to kind of start their game, you know, and actually start getting rounds on the board, but there's not much you can do, you know, 10 seconds left on the board. If you defuse it, you're going to get peeked. If you fake it, you're going to get peeked, and even if you get the frag, you're not going to be able to get the full defuse. So Team Vintage and Scared, Kinged, getting the 1v2 clutch, playing it to absolute perfection here. 4 rounds on the board already, and this really seems like a breach-sided map, which it's definitely not. So yeah, this is Team Vintage's map, and they're definitely showing why it is that way. And they're all just pushing together, but a big chance for Scared actually does get refragged. So Team Vintage seems like they're really going for that early mid control here. Just taking the early mid control, Sniper with a nice double there, and that makes matters worse for Vigorous. Not really sure what Team Vintage's plan is here. Seems like what they do a lot is kind of try to take that mid control, and then they just rotate to A. So this could be the thing once again, since literally everyone on Vigorous side has rotated towards B. But no, Team Vintage is committing to B side this round. So this is going to be the second B take on this game. 3v3, but Marcus, another crucial frag there on Twirl. Adelkeet, quick refrag though, but King takes him down. Now only Fair left. I think he has a U ratio if he has not switched out for a rifle, which would be way better in this 1v2 situation. Oh, but he's not expected from there. He gets one. Oh, and almost gets second, but Marcus, good positioning there. Gets the frag, gets the round, gets the U ratio as well. Marcus really showing up this game, getting those crucial frags. You can see he's topped the scoreboard along with King, 1 frag less, but King actually got a 1v2 clutch, which was really impactful. So yeah, Team Vintage looking really, really strong right here. I mean, 5 rounds with no answer from Team Vigorous. And we have to remember, this is a collision-sided map, so Team Vintage, they're looking like just to take this map quick.
Yeah, but Team Vintage looks like they are trying to show here that it's definitely not a city map. They are doing a really good job in pushing these angles. And as they promised, like it's their map, so they are trying to deliver their best on this map. And so far, looks like they are managing to get like every single round. And Team Vigorous just having no idea what to do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, there've been some close rounds. You know, we have to remember that 1v2 that Vigorous lost because King was just better positioned and, you know, there was not enough time to defuse. So it's not like it's an absolute destruction. I mean, there have been like 2 or 3 rounds that are close, especially like this one, you know. Vigorous actually opened it up, but Vintage was able to take down some players. So now it's a 2v2 and Adalkey, there you go. Now this is the round that Vigorous needs to take 100% if they want to have any chance of winning this map. They cannot afford to lose another 1v2 clutch. Now the bomb is down, so both players are kind of rotating towards that area. And Jeppa, he's low HP. Now if he gets Adalkid, that might be something, but Adalkid is a very, very strong angle here. He does get spotted, but also gets the bomb, so 30 more seconds for Jeppa to decide where to go. He's trying to spot someone towards that Vents Hall area. Unfortunately, nobody there, and Fair is going to rotate towards that area to make sure he doesn't like just rush Vents Hall and take control there. But timing here, yeah, Fair, nice jumping quickscope there. Gets Jeppa, and that's the first one on the board for Vigorous, but that's the first of many that they need to actually take this game. It seems like Twirl and Haslavista not really having the best game so far. Now, maybe they will activate kind of later in the game. You know, we saw that with Adalkit last game, where he wasn't also having the best game. But then towards the end, he really got those impact frags, and he really showed up big time for his team, redeemed himself. And yeah, so that was a good kind of late game play from Adalkit. So that might happen to both of these guys who are on 1 kill as well. Bonfire, nice utility usage, gets killed early. Without actually spotting anyone, but the bomb, what is that? Sniper, that was kind of a questionable decision, and Vigorous, they're just going to easily take this round, so yeah, Team Vintage, even though they're looking strong, they're not looking invincible, you know, there are definitely some holes in their breach side pushes. I'm not really sure why Sniper pushed up there. I mean, he had the bomb, so it's never a good idea. Never, guys, like if you're watching the stream, maybe you're new to the critical ops scene, do not, never, ever entry any of the bomb sites. Never be the first guy who rushes in if you have the bomb. And that's kind of what Sniper did there, because, you know, if you get taken down as the first player, the Coalition pretty much has the bomb control, so that's not something you normally see. Probably just a miscommunication coming in from Team Vintage. You know, maybe Sniper didn't know he had the bomb. Oh, Sniper redeems himself immediately, takes down Twirl with the jumping shot, and he's just looking to continue. But look at this. Once again, he's entering with the bomb. There you go. There you go, Sniper. It's almost as he could hear me. He drops the bomb down, so it's a way more sensible decision. Adalkid actually takes down 2 huge backstab coming in from Adalkid. That's going to make it a 2v4 here. Now scared, he is in prime position, takes some more frags, but he actually smokes it off, opting for the more safe play here. And Marcus Antonius goes down as well. So once again, all left down to King. Now we saw him clutch a 1v2 earlier, so it's not like it's all over. There's definitely a slither, you know, slither of chance that he clutches it, and that does get one, but 4 HP. He can afford to lose 1 HP to each of these Vigorous players, so it's really a tall order for King here. He actually gets another one, completely catches Bonfire off guard. He just doesn't know what to do. He kind of wants to run back to spawn, but he might meet his destiny here. Yeah, just not running with the knife, not expecting Fair at all. Great positioning by Fair, and that takes Vigorous to 3, so it's not all over yet, even though Team Vintage had a great opener there. I mean, 5 rounds is definitely more than you could ask for on the breach side, and the game is far from getting switched to the... it's far from the game to switch sides, so Team Vintage definitely can get some more rounds on the board here, but... Looking strong so far. Vigorous. It seems like they are kind of... There's some redemption going on, you know, they're trying to fight back, but it might be a little bit too late. And once again, Fair with a nice opener, and the P250 frag. Fair, what? He got 2 P250 frags against armored rifles. That's crazy. Fair has been really showing up in this best of 3 in the first game as well. I think he was the top fragger, and he just got many impactful frags like that. That puts Vigorous on 4. If we don't see a 1v5 clutch with the GSR, which is like very unlikely, especially with Vigorous knowing this last player's location. If we don't see like a crazy clutch here, It is the 4th on the board for a Vigorous, so looking a bit more solid, but once again, losing those 5 rounds might be crucial to them losing the game, because it's gonna be hard, you know, once they switch that breach side, if they don't have like some very, very good strategies, it might be all over for them. And we haven't even seen Team Vintage's coalition side. We have to remember it is their map pick, so we're expecting them to, you know, come in strong on this coalition side.
Yep. Team Vigorous is finally pulling their strategies back together and finally getting some rounds for themselves. But the damage is like already made. Team Vintage already has like 5 rounds, so they're quite not that worried about to get like enough like another rounds. But they do like they're gonna try to get like at least one more round. Cause yeah, it's gonna help for them to like if they gonna switch sides on CT. But Team Vigorous, they have to get these rounds. Otherwise, it's a GG for them. Cause who knows what's gonna
That's true.
happen?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
you put it perfectly. Like the damage has already been done.
yeah,
Team Vintage already getting 5 on the board. So again, even if they lose the remaining 3 rounds here, which does seem like this round is going towards Vigorous as well. Even if they lose the next 2 rounds, you know, before the side switch, they already have 5. So all they really have to do is just play their coalition positions and, you know, just take the game home. Now the bomb plant does come in, and once again it's kinged. He is definitely someone who could clutch. We already saw 1v2 incoming from King, so it's not like it's all over yet, but it's definitely a lot to do. And Vigorous, they're playing it really well. They're all playing on refrags, all close together. The defuse is going to come in, and 2 players are going to peek him most likely. So, oh, he gets one, but the defuse, he's still defusing. King gets one more. But what is happening is, no, he's not defusing. Oh, he actually is. Never mind, my bad. There you go. Vigorous on 5. That was a bit too close there. I mean, a 1v3 retake and really down to the wire there. 1v1 at the end, but King does go down. We see he's actually the only positive KD player on Team Vintage, but I feel like Team Vintage in general has been playing great. Now, not really the best game yet from Hasta La Vista, still struggling to kind of put some more frags on the board, but we saw him playing really well on that coalition side on Plaza, so maybe he's just one of those players that really, you know, likes the coalition side, and the breach side is kind of harder for him to capitalize on. We can see Fair. Once again, Fair has been so crucial to Vigorous getting these rounds, just getting all these early openings. He got like a double with P250 against Armored Rifles a few rounds back, which is absolutely nasty. Not sure how he did that. On Fair, he might run into some trouble, but he's just ready and prepared. Takes down King, then is expecting another one, which seems like there really isn't any player towards that elevators area on Biru. Team Vintage has rotated somewhere else, but this gives so much information to Vigorous. Even though Fair goes down, they know where the last player is. It's a 1v2. Now Marcus Antonius, he does have the bomb, but he also has red HP. So once again, it's going to be really hard for him. He pretty much has to get a flawless game here, getting 2 shots, getting 2 kills without, you know, taking any damage at all. Now once again, seems like the bomb plant is going to come in. You know, the timings here are in a way where Bonfire is going to be close to the side, but not really close enough to deny the plant. So yeah, if the timings are correct here, but Marcus actually goes for the peak, and Bonfire, yeah, not sure about that, just finishes it off. Seems like the best decision there was just to plant the bomb since you're low, you know. You can kind of plant the bomb and then play on after plant and kind of try to bait some shots out and win it then, but yeah, he just goes for the peak, goes down, which is expected when you're low on HP, and that does take Vigorous to 6, actually the first time they're in the lead in this game, but still, Team Vintage, 5 rounds on the breach side, even though they haven't really found any openings in the recent rounds. It's still looks like a very solid game from them. Scared. Once again, these opening frags, you know, the last 4 or 5 rounds, every single round, Vigorous just take the first 2 or 3 frags as the opener, so it's really hard to kind of fight that uphill battle. You know, 4v5 on the breach side is not really something you're looking for, and Fair just bombs down Hasta La Vista. Jep actually takes down Fair, so that's really a good thing to do. I mean, Vigorous is one of the best, if not the best player on their team right now. In his best of 3 is in no doubt Fair, so taking him down is almost like taking 2 players down. Now 2v2 situation, so kind of the first real chance for Team Vintage to finally get around. And there you go, Marcus Antonius, twirl is ready, but not ready enough. The aim just isn't there, and we're looking at a 1v2. Jeppa is going to plant Adelheat. They can hear him miles away. That vents area, you just can't rush there. You can literally hear someone rushing through vents when you're on ace site, and Marcus knows. He's pre-aiming it on a nice off angle there, and that takes us to an equal scoreline here on the switch.
Yeah, both of the teams did really pull their best, and as now we can see, like both teams are like equals on their side. But now it comes on a deciding round, the pistol round, and the second round after this. So let's see which team is gonna get the pistol round, because these rounds are gonna be crucial for the economy for the next of the rounds. So let's see.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, if Vigorous wants to have any chance in this game and wants to win it, they definitely have to take the pistol. And fair, he doesn't have one pistol; he has two. He has bought up the dualies. That's something we saw him doing in circuit as well. So definitely not the first time he's, playing with them. But Jeppa gets a nice frag. He only needs one more tap. He knows it. Yeah, fair. Not really much he can do there. Has La Vista. There you go. Putting the second one on the board. Very crucial frag. So even though Vigorous might be looking at the bomb plan here, it's going to be hard. 3v5, retake, they only have pistols. Not really the best position to find yourself in. Marcus coming in with another frag, and that leaves it up only to Adelkeet, which also goes down, so 7 on the board for Team Vintage. Now, we have to remember that on Plaza, a very similar scenario unfolded. Team Vintage getting many collision rounds in a row, getting almost to 10, and then Vigor is just able to somehow come back on that breach side. So hopefully that does not happen once again. That would be absolutely devastating for Team Vintage. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, they're looking to put the 8th one on the board here. Not really anything that Vigorous can do about it. I mean, they have AUGs, they have utility, they have SMG8s. Pretty much anything that Vigorous has is like pistols. So yeah, just a quick cleanup round, just what you would expect. Scared. He's gonna go for the backstab here. Not really anyone expecting him here, but he doesn't have the bomb, so he's just looking to take some of these rifles off of the hands of Team Vintage. But Team Vintage has absolute map control here. Yeah, Scared. Best he can try to do is get like one kill, retrieve the weapon, and then save. Like that would be an absolute amazing thing to happen for him. And Scared actually takes down one. He's not going for the rifle since he knows that it's guarded, so he's just kind of stuck here in this slab area, just trying to find some more frags, and not really anything coming his way. Team Vintage probably called out, okay, guys, don't peek him, and has La Vista. Nice flick there, takes down Scare, so yeah, as I said, maybe he wasn't having the best opener, has La Vista at the start, but now he's putting himself on the board, getting those crucial frags that you need to get, and there you go, 3 already. I'm sure that he's just one of those players that is just a lot better on the collision side. That happens. Some players are just good entry fraggers. They're good and they have quick reactions. They're good at kind of snappy aim, and that's normally when you kind of exceed on the breach side. But if you're more like a camper, you just want to play it slowly, take it slow, and kind of hold angles, then it's definitely collision side that is better suited for you. And Vigorous, they go down early. Once again, they're on those pistols. They just want a full save so they can fully invest the next round. But, that means that they are going to lose the 3rd round since the switch here. Twirl, the only one left alive. Looking once again to retrieve some weapons, but this is going to be hard. 1v4 and Sniper, giving no chances to Twirl, taking him down as well. Putting Vintage 1 round away from double digits. Definitely looking very strong on their map pick here. And if something catastrophic like it happened on Plaza doesn't happen again, then we're looking at 3rd map here, boys. We're looking at Legacy, which, as we talked about before, will be pretty chaotic, especially with Vigorous, known for their aggressive collision side plays. Yeah, it's looking good. Seems like Team Vintage, they're just running the default, 1 towards Intel. So if someone goes A, they can call it out and rotate, and 4 players towards B. This is pretty much the default collisions kind of lineup, the way that they play. Even before the rework, that was how teams normally played. Some teams like to put 1 player Intel and 1 player Lab, but that doesn't really happen that much, and that kind of really puts a big effort for the B-side defense. So yeah, it's just normal strat, but Bonfire actually able to open it up. Oh no, Vigorous. Seems like they want to do it again. They want to do the reverse sweep once again. Adelkeet getting the 2nd one on the board here, and Vigorous looking really strong, but Jeppa, he's not ready to let it slip. He's ready to take the frag on Twirl. Gets the early headshot. That's a 3v4. It's interesting to note the bomb's actually moving towards the B side, but very slowly. Has La Vista, he's going to peek, and he gets Bonfire. Completely catches him off guard there. 60 HP on Has La Vista, though, so he's not full health. 2 shots, 3 shots, and he goes down. But now, once again, an equal playing field here. 3v3. Scared, though. What was that? He just has wall hacks in his brain. He just knew that someone is going to be there and takes him down. So very nice effort from Team Vigorous. And Scared, he just continues to alert. I'm not really sure where this is going. Even Team Vintage is not sure. They think it's A. They're going towards that A side of things, but it's actually B. Oh, but he might get caught off guard here, scared. He's just not checking it, and Haslavista takes him down. That was kind of a poor decision making from Scared there, I'd say. But, you know, he's been instrumental in getting some of these rounds, so sometimes a bad run happens. That's fine, excuse me. You know, it's Scared still is a very solid player. Now, 2v2, definitely kind of favoring Vigorous here since they got the bomb plan. But we can't really say for sure. Team Vintage is gonna retake it together. Fair, what a shot. Quickscope there, gets the second one. Fair. You know, if there's gonna be a reason why Vigorous wins this game, it's definitely gonna be Fair. He was also the player that really showed up on that first map. So actually not at the top of the scoreboard, not even close. He's kind of in the middle. Scared is the top fragger here, but I feel like Scared is kind of the silent fragger. You know, we don't really see many like flashy plays from him. We don't see like 360 no scope, whatever MLG quick scopes. Mostly what we see is just Scared, you know, playing very passively and getting 1 or 2 rounds every round. And that's kind of how he gets his kills. Very good, you know, for his team. That's really impactful. But Fair is definitely the flashy player. You know, we've seen a lot of his clips getting that P250 double against armored rifles as well. You know, he's one of those players where he might not get a frag every round, but when he does get a frag, oh, you can make sure it's going in like a frag movie. And Twirl, once again, getting the early opener on Team Vintage. So even though they were able to string those 3 rounds together, Vigorous, they've gotten 1 rifle round, and that's as much as Team Vintage has gotten. You have to remember, the first 2 rounds that Team Vintage got was kind of the pistol. And oh, Fair, this is what I'm talking about. Just clip after clip after clip. He's definitely making the frag montage after this. King Haslavista, there you go, coming in big, exactly what you needed from him. He was feeling a little bit down on the breach side, but now on the collision side, he's making things very bad for Vigorous. Bonfire, he has looked towards that B site and catches King completely off guard. King was just not looking towards that direction, and Adalkit with the bomb is making his way towards B. Now the question is, Sniper, is he able to kind of peek and deny the plant? I mean, the bomb is still belongs, so there's a chance for Sniper to peek, but they expected, they flash him out, and they smoke him off as well. Is he gonna just push through smoke? No, he's not a madman like that. He's just gonna wait for it to kind of disappear. And a 2v2 now, definitely something Vigorous needs to take. I feel like this is what makes or breaks this game, you know, this round, because if Vigorous don't win it, it's a 7-10. If they do, it's a 7-8, way more doable. And there you go, Bonfire. Does catch some bullets, but actually wins out the round, so way more doable for Vigorous now. And yeah, they've actually won more rifle rounds since the side switch than Team Vigorous. Even though Vigorous has won more rounds, they've only gotten 1 rifle round, so it's not like Team Vintage is really pulling ahead here. I mean, none of these teams are up to double digits yet, and Vigorous, they're kind of gotten 2 in a row. Seems like their in-game leader has figured out what works and what doesn't against Team Vintage.
Yep. Team Vigorous finally like pulling some rounds. They are trying to do their best, but I would say like Fair is kind of like a really important player for Team Vigorous, because although he's a sniper, but I have seen like in a lot of tournaments and match like Fair just like absolutely like getting those really important kills for their team to push. Because if he's not gonna get those kills, then like it's really hard for like Team Vigorous to actually push. So he's doing a really good job as being a like a teammate. But our Team Vigorous finally getting 1 more round, and I think it's a 3 streak, right?
Yeah, 3 in a row and 3 rifle rounds in a row
Yep.
as well. Like Team Vintage, it seems like they have a really big problem closing out these games. Like they're doing good pretty much throughout the game. Like they're doing good, and as soon as it approaches, you know, closing the game, as soon as it approaches getting those 13 rounds, they're just unable to do anything. And the same happened on Plaza. Like, I have to remind you, if you didn't tune in on Plaza, the same thing happened. Team Vintage, they were up 11 to I think 7 it was, or 11 to 8 on the collision side, nevertheless on Plaza. And then Team Vigorous, you know, just that late game impact frags coming in from all these players, and they were just able to win out Plaza 13 to 11. So once again, Team Vintage struggling to close it out. You know, they're definitely performing well. The problem is, kind of, once it approaches the late game, I don't know if they panic or is there some issues with communication or what it is, but there you go, Fair once again with an absolutely crucial frag on Haslavista. So once again, a 5v4 situation, and Vigorous, they're just vigorously pushing this B site, and King, there you go, FP6 on Twirl, and Jappa takes down Fair as well. Now, if Vintage doesn't get this round, it might be just all over for them. So this is a very, very, very important round for them to get. And hopefully they do get it, because otherwise it might be all over. I mean, Vigorous, they're an absolute tear right now. But there you go, King kind of securing this. I mean, it's still a 2v3, but there you go, Sniper taking down one with the backstab. And Adult, you know, actually able to get one, but yeah, Team Vintage, very nice refrags there. Getting the first team to get to double digits, so that's nice, but that should have happened like 2 or 3 rounds ago. Now, the thing is, Vigorous, they're definitely not finished, right? Like, their economy is definitely booming after winning these 3 rounds, so they can just buy up and buy up. Even if they lose this round, they're able to buy up the next round as well. So, there you go. Haslavista absolutely turning around. Congratulations to him. He had, like, 1 frag and 9 deaths, and now he has 11 frags and 16 deaths. So, he's pretty much gotten 10 frags and 5 deaths since that's an unfortunate scoreline. So, really coming in big for Team Vintage. I mean, he's one of the reasons why they're still in the game, putting a lot of those impactful frags recently. Oh, what absolutely beautiful exchange of frags here on the kill feed. 3v3 now, so Vigorous once again looking strong. What is this? Jeppa and Haslavista, they're just looking to backstab here. They're not looking to push up that much. Not sure why the MP7 entries before the AUG. That's kind of an interesting decision here, but he might be able to catch some players off guard. But no, Scared is ready for that and fair. He's checking that Vance Hall area, takes down Marcus Antonius as well. So we're looking at the equal scoreline, 10 to 10 here. No, I expected the knife frag, but he didn't go for it. Adelkeith finishes off Haslavista. Nice attempt from him, but that 1v3 clutch is just too much to ask, you know, from him. Even from the best player in the world, you know, it's the 1v3 is just very hard, especially when the bomb is down, not much time left. But yeah, Scared. Even he's on top of the scoreboard. Once again, that silent 20 bomb, where we don't really see that much action coming in from, you know, his perspective, but he's definitely very, very instrumental for Team Vigorous getting these rounds in a row.
Yep, and as of like I saw like the players who are like actually not doing their best like in Plaza map are actually doing like really good on this map. Looks like they did got an extra motivation to like perform well, because although like everything is online, they have to like do their best. Team Vintage have to win this game, otherwise it's just gonna be like a GG's for Team Vigorous. But they are like the same thing is happening. Team Vintage did their really best to come back in Plaza map, but at the end, like Team Vigorous was like really good at pushing like on one side, and Team Vintage can't do like anything else. But same thing happening here. They have to like do something, otherwise they still gonna lose some rounds.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man, like that's what I'm telling you. Like, Team Vintage, they really have a huge problem just closing out these games. You know, they're in the lead, they're looking good, they're looking solid, and then all of a sudden, you know, 2-3 rounds away from that 13 scoreline, everything just falls apart for them. But maybe not yet. Jeppa actually able to get the opener here on Twirl, so a bit harder for Vigorous to really do anything here. Team Vintage looks like they're finally looking to get the 11th on the board. Yeah, Jeppa. Very nice frag there. Gets another one on Scared. This might be around Jeppa. What are you doing? Stop, bro. You're getting 3 in a row. Bonfire finally eliminates Jeppa, but the damage has already been done. Team Vintage, 4 players alive for them, only 2 for Vigorous, but fair once again. Trying to change tides here, but it is going to be a 1v3. Bomb left on Bonfire. Now, he is the player swapped in. He wasn't playing on Plaza, so it's kind of his time to redeem himself. Once again, a tall order, a 1v3, definitely better when he has the bomb. You know, he only has the plant and then play on retakes. But yeah, it's gonna be hard for him to clutch this out. He is moving up towards that vents area. Oh, he might actually catch. Yeah, he might actually catch Sniper off guard. Oh, this might be everything for Jeppa, but he might have made a sound Bonfire. The steal eliminates Sniper. 20 seconds left. No, he has to be quick, and he's getting cornered here. 1 MB long. He's just not expecting that. And he can't plant there as well. Oh no, Vigorous. Then he goes down. That just shows, you know, that since the rework, the spot that he wanted to plant the bomb at, it's a very nice spot to plant the bomb at. But it's been patched since the rework. You can't really plant there anymore, and in the crucial moment, you know, that really comes into play, and he's just not able to plant. Tries to switch position, but there's a player belong already taken down, so once again, we're getting 11 to 11. This is a very close scoreline. Same thing happened on Plaza. So I feel like Vigorous, they want to take it. They have to take it soon. Or it seems like Team Vintage, they're just regaining momentum. Hasla Vista. First time I see him on that Euratio, but it seems like it works out well for him. Takes down Bonfire. No, wait, really? Someone just pushed up Intel alone. That's a very, very ballsy move. Not sure what to make of that. And he's just looking for more. Oh, and Vigorous, they're actually on an eco. Okay, so that makes a little bit more sense why someone just pushed up Intel. Now, Twirl goes down to Jepa. This seems like a 12 on the board, 12th on the board for Team Vintage any day of the week. Now, Vigorous has surprised us, you know, at times. They've definitely done things that we did not expect them to do. And there he goes, Scared, gets the opener, but Fair goes down to King. Now, 2v4 situation. Yeah, Team Vintage, they just can't lose this round. It looks really good for them. Maybe Vigorous has like one weapon, but yeah, there he goes, Scared with the AK-47. They are moving towards B. Adulkey gets a crucial opener. Oh, if they get the bomb down, this might be a complete turnover. Team Vintage, they can't lose this, but Scared is too good. He just keeps pushing, takes down another one. Hasta La Vista goes down. Jepa in a very strong position, though. He has the info about these players. Adulkey and Scared, they're playing absolutely out of their minds. Adulkey, what are you doing? He gets 3 in that 2v4, and that puts Vigorous on 12. Team Vintage. Ay. I mean, they can still win, but that round was everything for them. And they just kind of let Vigorous take it. I mean, they didn't even make any, like, that many mistakes. It was just that Vigorous had superior aim. They were absolutely insane in those 1v1 gun duels, immediately taking down all the players defending the B site. And yeah, that's 12 on the board for Vigorous. And now they have rifles as well and 2 more chances to get that 13th round on the board. So Vintage, I mean, they definitely have to get this round, otherwise it's all over. So, but I'm not sure. Sniper though, nice frag there. King with another one. There you go, you know, if it's not against pistols, they can win it. But if it's a 2v4 clutch against pistols, then it gets harder for some reason. Jepa takes down Adulkey as well. That's looking very nice. And the Vigorous, the only player left, is Scared. Can't even rotate away because he's kind of stuck in this position here. And there's not really much that he can do. The best he can try is just to save the rifle, maybe take 1 or 2 players down. There's no way he clutches a 1v5, right? Like, this is not how the game is gonna end. Definitely not. Past La Vista comes in with the AUG frag on Scared.
Again, coming towards the scoreboard, we have like both the teams have like 12 rounds, and it's the final round, the deciding round, like which team is gonna take the win, and if it's gonna be a win for Vintage, the first win, and we're gonna move towards the next map, or Team Vigorous is just gonna end the game right here and gonna take the victory. It's gonna be a really intense round.
For sure. I mean, I feel like both teams don't want to like rush this round too much. Like they don't want to just like quickly rush and then it's like, oh, it's all over. So seems like, yeah, they're slowly moving towards that belong area. Now Adulkey actually not able to buy up fully. Along with Bonfire, they're only on the SF58. Now they are good with those bursts, but you know, it's still a little bit hard for them to do anything here. But B-side actually has worked out great in their favor in the past, so it's not like it's all over. But that nade was very nice, getting a lot of damage in. Seems like Vigorous, they might actually rotate over towards A. I mean, it's going to be hard for them to take intel, but Jepa gets the opener on Fair, one of the best, if not one of the better, if not the best players on Team Vintage, and yeah, not really looking that good. I mean, they did win that 2v4 Vigorous earlier, but Adulkey, oh, he might do everything here. Bonfire gets another one. Bonfire with a double, making it 2v2. That's absolutely huge from Bonfire. Finally gets taken down. It's all left down to Adulkey. He's expected, but he takes down one. Oh no, 1v1. 12 to 12, 1v1 Adulkey. He has no info that the last player is coming in from Vens. The timing could be everything here. Marcus Antonius, he moves up towards Vens, but Adulkey, he's actually going to backstab Marcus Antonius. What is happening here? Adulkey, just don't go Vens. Don't go Vens, bro. No. There's no way this is how it ends. There's no way. All that Adulkey had to do was peek Vens, and he might get caught off guard here in the back, but Marcus Antonius is not quick enough, so the bomb plat is going to go down. Oh, Adulkey, we've seen great plays from him before, but now he has to do it once again if he wants Vigorous to take it in 2-0. Actually, I still can't believe that they were like 1 meter away and they were just both unaware, and Adalki just didn't peek it and went away. He could have ended it earlier, but here, I mean, he doesn't even have to peek realistically. He only has to wait the bomb plant. He is peeking, confirms that the player is on site. Marcus is going to defuse, but oh, Adalkid is playing this absolutely to perfection. Jiggle peeking it. There's not really much that Marcus Antonius could do. And there you go. Marcus Antonius goes down. Adalkid gets the 13th. Adalkid absolutely insane last rounds there. Getting the 2v4 alongside with Bonfire, and then just alongside with Scared, and then just able to clutch it out. Huge congratulations to Team Vigorous. They're actually able to take this game, you know, just so quickly. In the best of 3, they've gotten two maps, and that's it. That's it for today, guys. I mean, it was a good matchup. It was definitely a good matchup in both these games and both these maps. You know, these teams got to 11 rounds, so it's not like it was really that one-sided. But come on, Team Vintage, you guys were looking great, and then just right at the end, you were just not able to close out the game. You know, 2 times in a row. So, yeah, kind of unfortunate for Team Vintage. I mean, congratulations to both teams. You know, even though Vigorous won, Team Vintage still played great and they had great potential. But yeah, just something about closing out those games that in the late stages of the game, they're just not able to pull together as many rounds as they kind of want to.
Yep, Team Vintage really did a really good job. They were like, I'm gonna say like very close to the win, but it was all upon the player. Like if he gonna like actually, he should have gone for the kill. Like he knew like he's 100 HP, so he should have gone for the kill. Like he know where the enemy is. But as like we saw, like Adel Keat was like really like 1 inch away. Like it was really close. Like he could have ended the match right there, but like Team Vintage had a chance, but still wasn't able to get it. But still, a really, really good play by both of the teams. And yeah, congrats to Team Vigorous for winning the grand finals and gonna be the victory.
Yeah, definitely. Congratulations. I
Yep.
mean, great play from both teams, as you mentioned before. But congratulations to Vigorous. They are your Claxon sixth edition champions of this best of this tournament. So they are going to take the finals then, and they are going to take the prizes as well. Now, if you guys are not really, you know, tuning into the stream late, Vigorous won 8 premium cases plus 1,200 credits and $50. So that's quite a good prize pool there. Now, Team Vintage, you know, even though they didn't win, they're still going to take home 4 premium cases and 600 credits. And the third and fourth place, the games that we did not see today, are taking home 2 premium cases and 300 credits. So that's not really that bad, but Team Vintage, they were definitely looking out to get the victory there. Unfortunately, not able to at the end. So that is going to be the end of today's best of 3 match of today's finals. GG's to both teams, and huge thanks to everyone who watched, to everyone who, you know, liked the video, who liked the live stream, you know, who commented in the live chat. In general, if you just watch a stream, huge thanks to you, and huge thanks to all for sponsors as well. We have to remember, if it wasn't for Critical Force, you know, these guys would not get their rewards. So thanks to Critical Force for helping to host this tournament, as well as Nice Cactus and Beer Claw Gaming. They were also organizations and sponsors that, you know, help with this tournament. But that's gonna wrap it up for today, guys. Thank you for watching. This was the Claxon Seasonal Series Single Elimination Critical Ops 5v5 Defuse Tournament, and yeah, this was the 6th edition. So seems like Vigorous, they are going to be the champions of this 6th edition of Claxon 5v5 Diffuse Tournament. But that's going to be pretty much it for today, guys. I was your caster Twist, alongside with me, SK Hulk, helped me a lot. And yeah,
Uh,
that's going to close it
yeah.
out for today. Yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Thanks again for everyone for joining in and tuning in. Again, congrats to both teams and for our sponsors. Like without our sponsors, yep, we can't do like these tournaments. So again, thanks to Nice Cactus and Critical Force for sponsoring this tournament. And we might see you guys in the next one, hopefully in the next tournament
Yeah,
season.
hopefully.
So yeah, hopefully we gonna be there. But if you're not, then yeah. So yeah, thanks for joining everyone. Signing out, SK Hulk and co-host Twist.
Yeah,
Bye bye
until
guys.
later, guys.
Peace out.
See ya. Bye.
Peace out. Bye.